My thoughts here, and I didn't put a great deal into ideas on how this would actually flow because I wanted to be open to what everyone wants to get out of this. But it's been bothering me to a fair extent. One, obviously there are winners and losers out of this deal, and some people are doing quite well, which I wish them the best. And I think some people are taking that responsibility seriously and doing the things that should be done. And I think other people are pretending nothing's changed. And that disturbs me because as business leaders, we should be leading and not putting people in harm's way and frankly, putting our economy in harm's way. We need to do this right, and they need to be responsible for what they're doing. But I'm not here to call anyone out or do that at all. But I do think that personally, as business owners, if we see things we don't like, we should mention it. Like, hey, I don't think it's cool you're not wearing masks. Or better, I love the fact you're wearing a mask. That makes me feel really safe. I think that's super cool. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But I think it's important for us to get our economy open. And I think the only way we're going to do that is to do things right. And we also need to think about the fact that this is a marathon. This isn't going to be over in 6 weeks. I personally am looking at it at 18 months to 24. And I think if you just operate that way and figure out how you're going to sustain whatever you do, you're going to be better off than going with something you're going to burn for 8 weeks and then think it's going to be over. So that's my personal philosophy here. And as I mentioned, we are working towards opening our doors because frankly, I can't exist if I don't increase my sales. I'm not at break even at the moment. And I know some of you aren't even having revenue whatsoever. And it's incredibly complicated. I know there's the PPP, which some people probably were able to take advantage of or thought about. And for nonprofits, there were other supports out there. But we're all in this together. And so whatever we can do as a team working together, that's what I want to be here for.
I agree with you completely. I actually will have masks and gloves at the front door, and I will ask my customers on appointment only to wear them. And my employees, when we have customers in the store, will be wearing masks. So I'm just going to take it really slow.
And we are definitely leaning that way. We definitely, in fact, I think we are required retailers when we open to the public for us to wear masks.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand retailers that are open now without masks.
I don't either.
But I understand that I have to do that. Mm-hmm. And I am going to attempt to require my clients to wear masks. I mean, my mom is 83. I have a son who's nonverbal has autism. And so these things are very, very serious to me, both personally and also to my community. And if someone walks in here who within 2 days tests positive and they weren't wearing a mask, I think I've got a problem. I think my team has to get tested and then they all have to be out for 2 days. Yeah. I can't really sustain that.
Right. No, I'm in the same boat, 100%. I think I had one very small sale, and that's about it since we closed.
And I've been very fortunate. I'm running about half. So I have nothing to complain about. And I have been able to bring my whole team back for a short period of time using the PPP. But I think that's a bit of a fairy tale, right? I can pay them now, but there's no reason I should be because the only thing I can do is paint. Right. So we're doing a lot of painting and planting and whatever we can do. But so let's ask each other questions, thoughts, ideas.
So when have they said anything about when, I'm just curious, when restaurants are going to be opened? Are they opened also next week?
Well, I don't know that anything is promised. What I understand is that the state is going to look at our situation on the 26th and then make a determination of what occurs. It's not a promise of us opening on the 26th, but there's a possibility.
I lost you for a minute. I'm sorry. What was that?
So I believe the state is going to evaluate our situation on the 26th.
Right.
I do not believe any promises have been made that we will be able to go to phase 2.
Okay.
Phase 2 will allow restaurants to open. And again, this is just what I understand from reading the documentation and paying attention to whatever degree. On the limited basis, they're going to be able to be open. And I think they've got a huge hurdle to overcome. The requirements for them is going to be astronomical.
Right.
And I'm curious, Lori, if you were to open for the public to sit down, you're going to have to follow those same regulations.
Yeah, I'm in a conundrum. You know who we serve, and right now, any senior that walked through the door and had a meal in the past, or that has called and said, gee, I would come and have a meal, but you're closed, we are servicing door to door now. So we can pull about, between Upper and Lower County, about 40 off the home delivered and put them down as congregate. But we've got a big wide open dining room. I'm sure anyone that has been in Calvary Baptist, but I measured off today, and it will take 4 tables to sit 4 people to do the proper social distancing. And it's a vulnerable population. So
Right.
I'm not in a hurry. I mean, yeah, if you've been in there, Rolf, I know Corey has, and we're just spread out everywhere, just trying to package the meals to get them out the door. So I don't know, I'm just not in a hurry. I did hear from O.B. O'Brien today that from what he got as of whatever day they okay it next week, it'll be parties of 5 will be allowed with room to social distance. And I got the impression that was everybody, not of course theaters or churches yet, but 2 weeks after that, which gets it to July, oh gosh, 3 weeks after that, puts it right around the 1st of July, and then it'll be a maximum of 50. But you have to have the ability to social distance the 6 feet. Just hearsay.
Right. And those are, I think, the general guidelines for group gatherings under the various phases. I know Nicole put a couple of links up in the, what's that called? The comments?
Yeah, so if everyone can find that same bar that they turned on their video or their audio, there should be a chat icon. If you click on that, you're going to see 2 separate links, helpful resources. So there's a state site for business, and then there's the county site for businesses. And each of these different business classifications are going to exist within the one that I'm on right now is the coronavirus.wa.gov, and there actually is per phase, everything is broken out. So the dine-in restaurant and taverns that you're talking about is under phase 2. Those are super helpful resources. So I would suggest, if you can, copy and paste those, or if that's not possible, I'm sure Rolf could email those resources out after this meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. My email is rolf@jerrols.com. So if there's anything I can do to help, or you want any of this information other than that, just let me know. But I know the phases are listed out in there too. There's a sheet that says phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And I think that's what's caused some frustration is it seems like the timeline has changed, and perhaps some of even the qualifications have changed. Of what allows you to go from one phase to the next. Because technically they said on the 25th, everybody got to move to phase 2, but that has since been changed. And now it depends on your current situation, and they're evaluating apparently each county one by one. And if you didn't look in the Daily Record last night, there is a letter from the county commissioners to the state and to the public, frankly, about allowing each jurisdiction to take local control. They feel that the state needs to get out of this game. And I'm not necessarily saying that's right or wrong, but they're saying that they want to have control over where they move forward or not, and that there are going to be outbreaks. That's just the way it is. There's going to be outbreaks no matter what. And so you can't say there can be no outbreaks. It's really how well can you control those outbreaks and do the things you need to do. Those are great resources, and I think you really should go to the source and read that stuff.
I think Kimberly Fletcher had a question or a comment, so I think we should.
Yeah. Rolf, so I know you sell the cleaning supplies, like you said. So can you tell us a little bit about your products and if you have any suggestions? I mean, we're just a small office.
Sure.
And
Sure.
so, as you know, as soon as you walk in our door, I don't even know if they're 6 feet from the door to the front counter.
Right, right. So I guess I'm going to try to tackle the whole thought of how we're going to operate our business and the things I think other businesses should think about. And we can talk about products as we go down that road.
Okay.
First of all, I believe that a great deal of knowledge is shifting away from this idea that this is transmitted through surfaces. Everybody was focused on doorknobs and all of this stuff. And the latest CDC guidelines that I read last night said this is transmitted by people breathing water droplets coming from other people. So it's this 6-foot thing that you all need to worry about. And it only makes sense, right? I mean, sure, you can get it from a doorknob if someone just sneezed on it and you grabbed it and then you rubbed it all over your face. Sure. And so not to say we shouldn't be disinfecting, but I think everyone thought, I just need to disinfect every 15 minutes and everyone will be safe. And my concern is it's your mouth. You need to watch people's mouths. And so the masks to me are the most important thing, and they're uncomfortable and they feel weird and this doesn't seem right. But in my opinion, you need to wear a mask. So what we're saying is that if your butt's in your chair, you don't need a mask. But if your butt's out of your chair, you put on a mask. And we moved all of our offices apart. So I think in your office, if you don't have room to be 6 feet apart, you need to push the whole thing back. You need to rip it apart and push it back. Because we tried to be disciplined and that didn't work at all. So in the end, we said no, because we used to share offices. Now we're all in separate offices. We used to have people that were side by side, and now we split them apart. We gave everyone their own phone. Everyone's responsible for their own pen, their own stapler, their own keyboard, just because that's the only way to do it. You got to just keep people separate and just worry about that 6-foot thing. So that's how we're viewing the issue. But when it comes to disinfecting, the important thing is not really what chemical you're using, but you need to know what it does and doesn't do. So the thing is what they call dwell or wet or kill time, all the same thing. But every product that is, no matter what, has to be on a surface wet for a certain period of time. That's the kill, dwell, or wet time. And every product is different, and you just need to read the back. And it is hard to find it, but you're looking for human coronavirus kill time. And some products are 1 minute, some products are 10 minutes. That doesn't make them good or bad, but you just need to know how long does that surface need to be wet. So I think in the food business, you guys use bleach. And that's because it's food safe and it's health department, okay, and so forth. But most good bleaches are 10-minute kill time. I've not seen anyone faster. So that's great, but you need to remember to keep your surface wet for 10 minutes. So the thing that bugs me is I see people going to grocery stores and grabbing a disinfectant wipe out of a container they cannot read. Then they wipe the handle, throw it away, and go. So it's been 3 seconds that it's been wet. They've done nothing. They are just fooling themselves that they've done anything, and that bothers me.
I'm going to interrupt real quick.
Yeah, please. 2
people trying to join the meeting, so I'm going to let them in.
Oh, yeah, please.
Give a brief recap.
Okay, and I'm sorry, and please stop me if I go off on a tirade, because I am fairly passionate about this.
No, we appreciate it, especially the part about the shopping cart. That's new. Yeah.
And again, I'm not so concerned about a shopping cart. And I guess I should pay attention to Nicole. So welcome. I see Gordon has joined us.
Hello.
And Nicole is still with us. Who else am I missing, Nicole?
It looks like I have 2. Gordon, did you try and join twice by chance?
Yes, I'm on my cell phone, so you can disregard the other one.
I'm going to remove the other one that I can't see you with. I hope you don't mind. My name's Nicole. I'm here to help with technology and moderating.
Hi.
Otherwise, I'm just here to drink my coffee. So,
so Gordon, we are recording this just so everyone's aware of that. And we were talking a little bit about disinfectants and what in my opinion, people need to be paying attention to. And to me, just understanding that the virus is transmitted through water droplets from people's mouths. And as long as you think that, I think you're going to be okay. And it is not it's not as big of a concern as most people have made it about surfaces. It's about being around people and breathing the water droplets that are in the air. So people sneezing, people talking, we're all projecting water droplets. What a lovely thought. And other people breathe them. And this is how respiratory things get transmitted. And so that's what we need to focus on. And so that's why I think masks are the #1 essential thing that must be worn by your team and by your customers. And a mask protects the people around you. It does not protect you unless it's a N95 mask, which are hard to get a hold of. We do have some, but most people should not be wearing those. That's not the point. So when you wear the cloth masks, and all the surgical paper masks, those are protecting the people around you. And it always kind of bugs me when people go, when I'm wearing a mask and they go, what, are you afraid you're going to get it? And I'm like, no, I'm afraid you're going to get it from me. I'm not wearing it for me. I'm wearing it for you. And I wish you would wear one because it's about respect.
Yep.
And I got a mom who's 83. I got a son who I have some concerns about if I get sick and he can't be home alone. So what am I going to do there? It's about respect. I'm not concerned about dying. But of course I have a motorcycle, so that was long ago taken care of. But the people around us, right? And keeping even more, well, not more important, that's the wrong way to say it. But our economies, if people start getting sick, we'll get closed. And I think this will come in waves. You look at 1918 pandemic, it came in waves. I don't see any reason why this wouldn't do the same thing.
Yep.
So I think you should disinfect. I can certainly help you talk about what you're using to disinfect the surfaces and so forth. I think that's important. But I do not think that if you disinfect, that's the solution to the problem. However, I think there's 2 issues here for all of us as business owners. One is the actual health of the people around us and the clients that we're responsible for when they come into our businesses. That's one, and very important. But the second one is trust. So it doesn't matter if I open, if no one trusts coming into my business. I mean, you go to a grocery store and everyone just looks freaked out. Frankly, I'm freaked out when I'm in the grocery store. I just want to get out of there. I never liked shopping to begin with, but now I really don't like shopping. And so I think as business owners, we have to do the things that that will help the public gain trust in us. And frankly, the authorities as well. And I think people want to see you disinfecting. So whether it makes them safer or not, it builds that trust bank account. So that's I'm looking at it from both angles. I want to do the things that helps my team feel the trust and be healthy, and same with my clients.
Yeah.
You mentioned that the food industry uses bleach. What do you suggest for counters?
So most people cannot tolerate a kill time of 10 minutes. That's just unrealistic. You're not going to have the surface wet for 10 minutes. So frankly, the shorter the kill time, the better, because then you can just wipe it with a cloth, you leave it on, and you're done. So for me, I just look for products that have a kill time that's very short. We have a product, and again, I'm not here to sell anything, okay? I want to make that very clear. I'm not here to sell stuff.
Sure.
But there is a product called pH7Q, and it's a concentrate. It comes in a gallon. Unfortunately, you got to measure it out into tablespoons, and it's very highly concentrated, but it's got a 1-minute kill time. So you can spray it on, or you can use a cloth. We use.
And what is it called again?
pH7Q.
Now,
Shoot me an email. We can help you. Oh, you can. Yeah, there you go.
If you open up your, so Gordon, you're new to this. I don't know how much experience you have. There should be a chat icon.
Zero.
If you click on the chat icon, it's going to show messages that I'm just kind of taking the most important bullet points. There's going to be a couple links in that chat, as well as the pH7Q name.
Oh, good.
I always try and call pHQ7, so I'm with you. I totally get it.
Okay.
So I'll just keep notating some things, and then you all can actually download a file at the end of every end of the meeting that has it.
Because I
It's
do
called
order some.
chat.
Yeah, there should be a little icon.
I see.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
Yeah, I got it. Okay.
And so if you guys are interested in anything, just reach out to us and we can deliver it to you or whatever you need to do. And what we try to do with our chemicals is we will provide you the actual sheet that you can read big enough, and we highlight the stuff that's important, and we'll give you the dilution rates. The other thing is you need to be careful and make sure you label everything correctly. You shouldn't just be writing disinfectant on the bottle. That is, as an insurance agent would tell you, put you at great risk. You need to have it labeled properly. So we will provide you the labels you need. Because all of that is important. But that, I think that's a great product, but it's not necessarily the perfect product. So again, it depends on what you're doing. I don't really recommend disinfectant wipes unless you have to, like you're in a truck and you can't do other things. One, because they're just not environmentally sound. And two, there's not enough wipes in the world to keep everyone disinfecting using a wipe. And wipes, again, have kill times. And you need to read the kill times. They go from 10 minutes to 1 minute. Oh, I've seen 30 seconds. So those are just my thoughts on the disinfectants and stuff. And I think that no matter what you do, you need to be able to do it for 24 months. So you need to design something that is going to be tolerable to your team and that you can monitor for the long run. We do things like once you've cleaned your keyboard at the end of the night, you put a blank sheet of paper over it. You flip over your mouse, you cover your phone. So we know it's clean. And then I go through at the end of the day because that's just what I do. And I make sure the rest of the stuff is clean. The light switches, the faucets, all of that kind of stuff. And you just need to kind of think about what really is important. I don't think cleaning the floor is all that important. I don't get that, but I do understand you could track it in with your shoes, but I think you should take off your shoes when you get to your house. But anyway, it just goes on and on and on. And you have to figure out what is reasonable for the risk and to create the trust that you need to create for your team and for your clients. Yes.
We got after Lori from Fish, we have a question from Kim. So we'll bounce over there. Boom.
Perfect.
Are we bouncing to Lori or to Kim?
Lori, you had a question? I think you're on mute, Lori.
Oh, I sure was.
There we go.
Is the disinfectant, the blue that we use, is that the disinfectant that you were speaking of, or?
Lori, I would want to look at it. So if
okay.
you would like, I will make an appointment with you and come down. I know you were looking for some containers too. So
I was only going to tout that for you. You already know what we needed, and that's what we're using. We squeeze the side and it comes up and about that much.
And I think you're actually using a different product, mainly because the people who are measuring using a gallon isn't the best situation. So you're using a slightly different product. It still has a 1 minute kill. But again, there's a lot of things that go into deciding what chemicals to use. And that's kind of what we like to do, is to help you find the right chemical, the right packaging for what you're doing.
I just wanted to say that it's a very pleasant odor. It's not hard on your hands should you be barehanded. That was all I was going to add. It's a great product. So that's
thank you, Lori. Kim, you had a question?
Yeah. So so a friend of mine was talking. She has health issues, as do I, and harsh chemicals, of course, is something that is hard to be tolerated by many.
Right.
So she went and she found this product called BioS Botanical Disinfectant Solution. So I shared the website so each person can go and do their own research. And what she was saying is, and what it says here on the website is, it's EPA approved, EPA registered broad spectrum disinfectant. And you're talking about the kill time. Well, the kill time on this, the average kill time, I think, is like 2 minutes. And it is botanical and safe as far as not having those harsh ingredients of chemical products.
Sure.
So I was just wondering, is this something you're familiar with, or would you be selling this type of a product in the future?
I don't know anything about that particular product.
Okay.
That's obviously one of the things people need to be concerned about, is how you interact with the public and with your team. And I think you just need to test and see what you've got going and how that works. And there's all kinds of products. And again, you just want to find human coronavirus and find out the kill time of that product, because they do vary. I mean, HIV is a different kill time. Tuberculosis is a different kill time. SARS is a different kill time. So it's really important to find the human coronavirus kill time.
Yep.
And it can be difficult.
Mhm.
Lots of fine print. But thank you for sharing the link. And I think if, just do the research and make sure it's is labeled that way and follow the label.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Right there.
Oh, sorry.
Go
I
ahead,
thought you
Gordon.
were typing, so I'm going to be honest, Gordon. I muted you real quick just so that it wasn't super loud.
Oh, okay.
Take
Yeah.
note.
Well, yeah, I just was gonna ask, I already have some product, the kind of standard, the Clorox bottle that has the bleach in it so you can
Mhm.
spray your bathroom and clean it. And another generic Safeway brand, which is another just a spray bottle that it contains bleach. Are those adequate or?
Read the label.
Mhm.
If you cannot
Like-
find human coronavirus, then no. But they
Okay.
could be. I just don't know.
Mhm.
So they actually print that on the label nowadays.
Well, no, and they have for years. It's always been there. Just
Oh.
we never cared.
Yeah,
Uh,
okay.
Yeah, and if it's not on the label, and then it's probably either too old or it's not.
mhm.
Yeah, and actually one of the issues with bleach, and I think this happened some long time ago when somebody around here had the flu or cold, and one of my wooden doors has some white blotchy marks around the door handle because I'm pretty sure I used bleach spray on the door handle and it got on the wood.
Right.
And it's not good for wood. It's ugly. Just one other thing.
Yeah, and I think that that's important. I've actually heard that brought up in another meeting I was at. You want to test your cleaning products on surfaces before you just apply them because you don't want to go damage your counter or whatever. So test. Just make sure your surfaces are okay.
Mhm.
Nicole, go ahead. Go ahead, Gordon.
When it comes to one of the biggest issues, I think it's going to be when a customer wants to walk in without a mask, and you have signs up that say, "Please wear a mask for us, for you, everybody," and they want to come in anyway. And what are you doing? What are you
Well,
saying?
I haven't had that circumstance yet because I'm not able to be open. But and I have to prepare a 20-year-old college student to confront this person, right? And we don't confront. Everyone knows our customer service, so that's not how we look at it. But what I don't know until I do it because I'm in sales and I have to do it to see how people react. But my thought is, if it's good enough for Costco, it's good enough for Jerrol's. And I want my mom to be safe in my store. And if you're not wearing a mask, my mom is not safe in this store. So, that's kind of the way I'm going to say it. And I would be glad to bring you whatever you want and so forth. And we'll see what happens. I don't know. And I don't really want to fight with people. But I also really don't want them in my store because I'm endangering my ability to stay open. And I'm endangering my team, and I'm endangering my clients. That's not my role as a business owner. My responsibility is to keep people safe. But we all work with the public, and we know that it's different when you're face to face with somebody who's decided this is a political statement or whatever. To me, it's a respect. I respect you, you respect me. And it is also my business and my property, and I can ask you to leave. Now, am I going to call the police? I hope not. I mean, how ridiculous is that?
Yeah.
But there's so much misinformation out there. People just don't, and I don't know where people get their information, and this isn't anything about politics, but people really need to know the facts. This is not complicated. It's not easy, and it's not simple, but it is not complicated. It's a virus, respiratory, water droplets, people. I was going to ask if Nicole at Eastside had any questions or comments. I know you're working on getting your team back to the office.
No. Yeah, we are working on getting our team back. We have sent information out about starting that at phase 2. Michelle has provided us with everything that we could need. Disinfectant, hand sanitizer, soap to wash hands, of course, is most important.
Absolutely.
Gloves, masks. We all have our own office spaces. So really our concern is common areas.
Right.
We have already purchased the PH7Q, so we'll be utilizing that. We're splitting our team in half when we do start coming back to the office, so we'll limit the numbers in the office. You know, so just doing everything that we can to limit that, essentially.
Yeah, I think as business owners, we've always dealt with overcoming obstacles and overcoming regulations that we agree with or disagree with. We just have to do it again. And so to me, it's not a matter of fighting the regulations, just deal with them and overcome them like you did with minimum wage, like you've done with every other regulation that you may or may not agree with. You just figure out how to make it work.
Right.
Mhm.
Anything else, anybody? Again, I hope that we all become ambassadors of doing this right, of helping our neighbors open and stay open. I would encourage, from my perspective, everyone should be wearing a mask in public, even if it's just a statement of leadership. You know, to me, I don't need to wear a mask when I'm driving in my car, but I'm going to do it so people see me wearing a mask. And when I wear a mask, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to smile. I'm going to say hi to people. I'm going to make sure that this isn't like doom and gloom. And I thank people at the post office for being there. I thank people for wearing masks. I just really think that we as business owners need to take a leadership role here and show our community how to do this right, so we stay open and we stay safe.
Rolf, I have a question. Do you think you'll be, are you doing any kind of the temperature check, like the forehead thing?
You know, I
People to come
believe
in?
I am required to do that once we go to phase 2. As of right now, the only person who does it is me, because I'm trying to see if it's tolerable. And it is. I mean, they're hard to find. So if you think you need one, I would get on Amazon and get something ordered. I can't help you with that. I can't have absolutely no ability right now because of the supply chain. But as I read the state regulations for retailers, there's 2 things that I know I have to do. I have to have a digital thermometer used when you come to work every day. And my team has to wear a mask if they are not in their own office. And those are just the regulations. They're written on paper. Now, I am not going to be the person that uses the digital thermometer. I'm going to let each person do it themselves because I don't really feel like I need to police people. We're all adults. We all want to do the right thing. I don't think anyone's going to test, have a temperature and then go, oh, I'm going to go to work anyway. I just don't have those kind of team members.
Mm-hmm. So you'll have a thermometer available. They'll just take their temperature
when you
when
walk
they
in
walk
the
in.
door. It's sitting right there with the instructions on how to use it, and there's a box of tissue, so you can pull out a tissue and pick it up and use it, and you're done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have one on order, but I haven't received it.
Yeah. So I do think it's important. So what I understand works effective is you need to screen. You need to screen your team and your clients so that if they do present symptoms, they should not be in the building. You need to have good hygiene, which is washing hands, those kinds of things. And washing hands is better than hand sanitizer. And you don't need special soap. You just need soap and water. Then you need to use masks and you have to have social distancing. So there's 4 things that the hospitals are saying, this is what we're doing to keep people safe. And so that just makes sense. And those are easy to understand and they're easy to build a plan around. So that's what we did. We just said, okay, so good hygiene. What does that mean? Okay. What does screening mean? Okay. What does wearing a mask mean? When, how, for us and for our clients, and then social distancing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oops.
There, I posted a digital thermometer into the chat just to give people an example of what you're looking for if you're interested, since it sounds like Rolf can't get that for you.
Yeah, as you can imagine, everybody wants a digital thermometer.
It's a really hot item. I don't know why. It looks like Kim has lowered hand. Never mind. Raised hand?
Yeah, raised hand. So Rolf, I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask anyway. So say, for instance, an employee has been exposed to a family member, or yeah, I guess a family member who has been exposed to COVID. Would you let them come to work, or would you make them self-quarantine until that family member is tested?
So my understanding of how this works, first I'll start with what you're supposed to do. What I understand the authorities, which would be Dr. Larson, would be telling you. And that is, so if you are tested, you are supposed to self-quarantine until you see the results. So if you've gone and requested a test, at that point, you are supposed to self-quarantine. If you test positive, you are supposed to quarantine for 14 days. Or actually, specifically, you have to have no symptoms for 72 hours, because apparently the fevers kind of spike and go away and then come back and so forth. So that's what I believe that the authorities are saying. And so the issue would be, let's say a customer comes in, and apparently what they're doing when they do this contact tracing is they're going back 48 hours. So let's say I test positive. If I've been in the insurance agent within the last 2 days, they are going to say, okay, was he wearing a mask? If the answer is yes, from what I understand, what they've said on Facebook, because this has happened, people from Twin City Foods were in retailers and they said I was wearing a mask. They go, we're not even going there. Good, you're covered. If they weren't wearing a mask, they're going to go through and say who was in contact with them within 6 feet. They need to be tested, so they're out for 14 days. Or I'm sorry, they're out for 2 days while they get the results.
Right.
If I had a team member from someone who's being tested, I would allow them to be in the store, but they're going to wear a mask.
Okay.
Right? Because if they wear a mask, it's water droplets.
Right.
And I'm not going to just say you can't be here because your brother who you live with worked in a store where someone came in and wasn't wearing a mask and hat.
Right.
And, you know, everyone's going to have their own tolerance for this. I may say, Kim, you know what? You don't need to be here. Why don't you go home for these 2 days until we know? But, you know, everybody else has to decide their own comfort level. Yep. And, you know, what kind of people they have at home and so forth. But it is interesting. And my son, and I through him, was exposed to somebody who was exposed to somebody way back when, and they were being tested. And so I sat out with him. This was back in March. And we've had team members whose, again, brothers worked in retail and so forth. And we just made that decision that, yeah, you can be here, but you need to wear a mask. And it came back negative.
Great. Thank you.
And that is supposed to be part of your plan. You need to have written about what you're going to do here when that happens. You don't want to make it up when it happens. You want to know what you're going to do.
Right.
And make sure your team is comfortable telling you. You don't want them to be fearful to tell you that someone in their household has been tested or came out positive, right? That would be the worst case scenario.
Yes.
Okay.
Do we have any more questions out there right now?
I don't think so.
I'm good. That's very helpful, though. Thank you.
So I'm surprised you all showed up, and thank you. And what I'm going to propose then, that since there seems to be interest, one, feel free to reach out to me. I am glad to help. I mean, I do business with every single one of you. And you, I also consider you to be friends and part of my business community, and I want to help everyone be successful and do this right. So I am here. We are here as a resource for whatever, even if you just want to talk, because You know, we're sitting at home isolated. I'm lucky enough to be able to come to work. But also, Nicole, if you are willing, my Nicole, not Eastside Nicole, can we do this again next week? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to just say we're going to do this once a week and see what kind of interest. So please promote this to people. Can you get us a link fairly soon so I can get that out to people, Nicole?
Yep, can do.
Great. Yeah, and I mean, don't feel obligated to come back, but if you think this is worth your time, or you've got something you want to say, this is evolving and it's not going away. So we might as well say, let's get together and figure out how to do this together.
Mm-hmm.
And feel free to invite other people. I would love to see 50 business owners on this call, sharing ideas, sharing thoughts.
I appreciate your time.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. And again, feel free, if we can help in any way, we'd be glad to.
Okay.
As you know, we're still up there every Tuesday and Thursday.
Okay, good to know.
Great.
All right.
If any of
Thank
you
you.
like the basically the chat document from this, email Rolf. I'm going to send him an attachment and he will be able to send it to you. If you would like the video recording of this, we're also going to make that available as long as everyone's on board with that. So
Yeah, and
That's
if you don't mind, if you're interested in knowing about the next ones and reminders, just send me an email. And if you prefer to be texted, send me your phone number and we'll just send a text reminder. But we'll just do this every Friday at 10. This has been fun.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend and be safe, you guys.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
You
Rob.
too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.